Namaste. Namaste. That was wonderful. And after you finished the bowl, when you saw me, you greeted me. Okay? And through this greeting, there was a rapport that was created between you and me. In the same way, when you dance on the stage, you have to create a rapport with the audience. You have to flower. Say from a little bud, your limbs have to flower out. And again, an ambience has to be created. The audience has to be brought within the spell of the dance. They have to become a part. Their mood has to become at one with your mood. And this is done through Thaat. Thaat means creating a mood through stances. Generally, we come and stand in one pose. Now, the way we stand, the angle of our neck, our face, the way we are looking, our hands, the way we are holding our body or our torso, everything is very important in Thaat. Then, when we are dancing at a fast speed, we can't concentrate on very delicate facets of the dance, like very gentle and delicate movements of the wrist. Glances that do not pierce but gently brush on you. Then slight movements of the neck, movements of the torso. While dancing, we do not pay attention to the way we are breathing. Rather, we say that you have to breathe in a natural way, as you do in life. But here, when you're lifting your body, automatically you have to breathe in. Again, as you go back, you breathe out. So all these very delicate features are important in Thaat. Thaat is generally performed at the beginning of a performance. But it is a presentation that very mature dancers can do because it involves so many delicate and minute details. When you're doing something very fast, people are mesmerized by the speed. But when you're doing something in a very slow tempo, then every movement is focused and people are aware of every delicate and slight movement of your muscles, of your eyes, of your whole body. Generally, Thaat is performed at a very slow tempo. You have done Vilambit. We will learn Thaat in Vilambit. There are various ways in which we can do Thaat, and the important thing about Thaat is that you have to come to a certain pose at the thumb. It can be a new pose or it can be a variation of the earlier pose. Now sometimes certain dancers present sparkling tehais and then come to the thumb. But here we will do it in the very traditional way, in which the entire movements will be very slow and we will pay attention to details. So, Vilambit Trital, I would request the musicians to play a short tehai and start with the Vilambit, and you notice my movements. I will be showing you the movements in detail, but just watch and then you also try to follow. So here, first I took this step where my left knee is slightly bent, very slightly. My right foot is pointing to this direction. My arm is also in that direction. My neck, the way I'm looking, are all concentrated on that direction. So it's 1. In 2, I'm gradually shifting my weight onto the right foot because I want to lift the left foot. And here, this hand is going upwards. So as I'm lifting this foot, this hand is also going up. Then when I come back and finish this, this ends with a tapping of the toe of the right foot. So it's like 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Now here, my body weight is still on my right foot. Keeping it there, I move my left foot forward, but the weight is on the right foot. So it's like 1, 2. It is as if I'm dragging myself much against my wish. I want to remain here, but my foot is going against my wish. Then I bring the right foot back. Then 1, 2, as if I want to fly. But then finally I fall on the ground. I collect myself and come to this pose. Would you like to try it? So remember, it's 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3. Here I have completed the first pose, and then the Thaat starts from here. Would you like me to do it with you? Or I think, why don't you try? Okay. Ta, hey, tat, ah, hey, tat, hey, 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 tat, hey, tat, ta. Good. Now, standing here, first 4 beats, I don't move. I'm like a statue, establishing the stance or the pose. Then I start moving my wrist. This is called thirkan, or slight moving of the wrist. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then more important, or rather a sweeping movement of the wrist. 1, 2, 3. Okay, So I'll do the second part. So remember, I was here. Then, when I was doing the first 5, 6, 7, 8, more or less, I was just looking here and here. Then the glance shifts even more. 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm not looking at my hand, but I'm conscious that this wrist is moving, so I'm looking here. This wrist is moving, so I'm looking here. Then, for changing, I'm changing the movement to taking a pirouette and coming with the same pose. Instead of standing like this, I'm standing like this. Would you like to do both of them together? Okay. Na, tin, tin, na, te, din, din, ta, ta, te, tat, ta, te, tat, te, 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 ta, te, tat. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, in the first one, I was standing at this angle and I was concentrating on my wrists. Here, I concentrate on my torso. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm here. And 5, 6, 7, 8. Here, if you notice, you have to breathe in, breathe out. But not in an obvious way, but if you, as you're moving forward, if you breathe in, if you breathe out, it helps. So 5, 6, 7, 8. Then in 9, 10, 11, 12, you gradually move your body like this. 13, 14, 15, 16, 1. This, I always say, is like a coconut palm. Like other trees, when they are in a very windy weather, but they have separate parts of their bodies moving separately, or rather, separate parts of a plant moving separately. But for any palm tree, especially a coconut palm, it always moves in a very graceful way, and there are no sort of bends or anything. So you have to remember that. And like as if you're in a mood, in a daze, so you're moving. So we were here, then 1, 2, 3, 4. I was in the same pose. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1. Okay? And another important thing to remember is that as you are taking this turn, it's not that your upper part of the body is moving. Your weight is shifting. If this is the, like if this is my foot, if this is the flat foot, my weight is shifting from here up to here, and again from here. So the weight is sort of circling, and you can feel the weight of the body from below, so that you don't have to move the upper part at all. It's sort of like a coconut palm. In a windy weather, you're going round, okay? So we'll start it from the beginning again. I'm doing it from the beginning again and again so that you'll have a continuity. hey, tat, ha, hey, tat, hey, 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 ha, hey, tat, ta. So when we come here, the next important part is movements of the shoulder. So like I'm here, but it's only this part of the shoulder. You know, I'm sort of pushing it down. It's a circular movement. So my hand is here. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The main shift is from the shoulder. 9, 10, 11, 12, thei, ta, thei, thei, ta, ta, ta. So this is the second pose. Up to now, we were in this pose, which is like Utpatti. This is again a very major pose in Kathak. Now, sometimes people don't know exactly which position the hand should be kept in. We were taught that from the Utpatti, you shift your fingers forward or your wrist forward. Then from here, as if you're pulling a string or you're pulling an elastic. So it comes like this. This is slightly bent. This is also slightly bent. And in the final pose, the inner part of the elbow and your ear should be in the same line. Now, this pose is called the Gath pose. And again, there are several interpretations that have been given of this pose. Different religious orders give different interpretations of this pose. Vaishnavites feel that the upper hand represents the peacock feather on Krishna's crown, and the lower hand is resting on Radha's shoulder. Another interpretation is that this is Shiva's Damaru, and Shiva has his arm on Parvati. Again, the Sufis also hold this pose very important. This has a connection with the world and this with the heavens. And again, I think even without the interpretation, it's a beautiful pose. So in the last 4 beats, it's thei ta thei, 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 ta, ta, ta. So it's like thei ta thei, 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 ta, ta, ta. Okay, so after you come here, it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, thei ta thei, 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 ta, ta, ta. So, would you like to do it from the very beginning again? Ta, hey, tat, ha, hey, tat, hey. da, te, da, ta. Good. Now, I had been speaking about a mood. Of course, the poses were there, the stances were there, gentle nuances, delicate movements are there. Sometimes we think of what is the proper mood for Thaat. Now, Thaat is associated with court dancing, when dances were performed in the courts of kings. Now, beautiful dancers like you performed, and in the mood of the dancer, because after all, when you're dancing in front of a god, your main feeling is that of devotion. But when you're performing in a court of a king, well, you are submissive to the king, but it is not a spirit of devotion. Rather, we often say that there is also a touch of arrogance in Thaat. Like you stand like, it's not, I mean, like, I'm not completely surrendering to God. You're a king, I'm a beautiful dancer. So, you have asked me to dance over here, that is why I'm dancing. But I'm not someone who is absolutely submissive to you. But that spirit, that, I am me. Okay? So, well, that spirit has to be there throughout Thaat. That there's a slight, a slight touch of arrogance which adds beauty. I don't know, you must have seen pictures of miniature paintings. There, or like even in some of the pictures of Nur Jahan, there is a touch of arrogance which actually makes the picture even more beautiful. When someone can come and smile and laugh, that's one sort of a beauty, and that's a rather babyish beauty. But when you're creating a mood, that also adds another type of beauty. As if a beautiful dancer knows who she is. Okay? It's not that you're in the class and you've come to learn and you can giggle away. Okay? So that feeling has to be there. Now, when we stand in this pose, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, we are still. Then 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice that in 5, 6, and in 7, 8, I'm not looking at the hand. But I'm conscious of the hand. And so there's a slight movement in the torso as well. Then 9, 10, 11, 12. Then from here, I'm taking this sweeping movement, pulling my hand back, and in 1, I'm looking again here. Okay? Then, after this, since you have learnt this other movement with the earlier pose, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 5, 6, 7, 8. Remember when I was here, I was conscious of my movements, but not looking in that direction. But here I'm changing it because there are wider movements. So 5, 6, just as my shoulder is going in this way, my glance is also going in this way. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1. So, do you remember the entire sequence? Can you do it? So remember, when we are coming to this, first, it is the wrist. This is the movements of the wrist, any type of movement. They're all called Kathak. And movements of the shoulder are called Masak. Looks of the eyes are Kataksh. So, you will do the entire sequence of Thaat and remember the mood. Mood of slight arrogance, but a very pleasing type of arrogance. Not something that will put people off, but something that will make you look more attractive. You are a conscious beauty. Okay, so we will start. Good. So, this is Thaat, in which through your stances, through delicate movements, you are opening out from a bud, you're opening out into a complete artist, and you're creating a mood, an ambience in which the audience will be immersed. And from now on, they will become a part of the dance. Because we always say that in any performance, the audience is as important as the artist.